Most people fail at Amazon FBA not because they're bad at selling on Amazon, but because they're bad at sourcing products. And trust me, I made exactly the same mistakes, wasting so much time, losing a ton of money, and pretty much nearly quitting. But in this video, I'm going to save you from all of that. I'm going to be breaking down exactly the mistakes that you're making, and more importantly, how to solve them and actually scale your Amazon business properly. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more Amazon FBA related content. So the first mistake is you are sourcing the wrong type of products, okay? And I didn't realize that I was doing this for such a long time in my Amazon business. But really, it was the core to why I couldn't scale my business. I mean, I was sourcing products with high competition, high volatility, low profit margins, and on the face of it, these deals look great, right? I was going to a wholesaler, I was buying the product, there might have been a 20% margin, but by the time I'd actually bought the product, sent the product in, there was an influx of new sellers that would come in, sell the product, and the margin would just drop. The price was just tanking, and I would end up making very, very small margins. And this comes down to the type of products you're sourcing. Now, if you're looking at the wrong type of listings on Amazon, and if you're not doing the correct analysis, you're going to be finding the wrong type of products, which means you're going to be contacting the wrong type of suppliers, the wrong type of brand, which means it's just going to make the rest of the process 10 times harder for you. Whereas if you actually learn how to source good products and good listings, it's going to make the rest of the process 10 times easier. So what you should be looking for is a higher barrier to entry product, okay? So you want to be looking for products that other people can't get access to. You want to be looking for listings that they're not filled with 20 different FBA sellers, all with, a low review count. You don't want to be looking at listings where the price is, the selling price one day is at £6, the next day it's at £10. You want to be looking for consistency. So you want to be looking for consistent sales, consistent sale price, consistent stock levels, consistent BSR. Basically, you want to be looking for consistency all around. And so to do this, when you're sourcing products, you need to make sure you're always sourcing the products on Amazon first, analyzing them and making sure they're products and listings that you actually want to sell, and then you can go reach out to the brand. Mistake number 2 is contacting the wrong type of suppliers. Now, this kind of leads on from point number 1, because if you're not finding the right type of products in the first place, you're going to be contacting the wrong type of brands anyway. But what I mean by this necessarily is you always want to be going to the brand direct first, okay? You never want to be just going and traipsing through Google and trying to find a wholesaler. You always want to be contacting the brand directly. And the reason for this is because when you go to the brand directly, you're likely to get the best pricing, the best terms, and you'll be able to actually negotiate a competitive price that will mean you're able to sell on the listing for a long time. If you're just going to the general run-of-the-mill wholesale, and I see people do this all the time, they'll just go to Google, they'll search, Nivea deodorant can wholesale, and they'll try find a wholesaler or a distributor through Google that's going to be able to supply them with that product. Now, I'm sorry to tell you, but that simply just doesn't work. On the face of it, there may be profit, but because the barrier to entry is so low, and you're actually going to a supplier with such a low barrier to entry, that every Joe Blogs can just go and buy these products. So you're just going to end up on these listings with an influx of new sellers all dropping the price, and you're going to make no money. So you need to make sure that you're finding the right type of products, and once you've found the right type of products, you're actually approaching these brands directly. Mistake number 3 is not negotiating with your suppliers correctly. Now, I see this all the time, and people are genuinely leaving tens of thousands of pounds of revenue on the table each and every month simply because they don't know how to negotiate. They don't know how to negotiate, they don't know what to negotiate, they don't know how to approach it. And maybe when they do approach it, they maybe just go down the volume route and they just say, can I get a better price on this product for this amount of units, right? A lot of the time, this is just not going to work. It may work, but you're not going to get the best price that you can do. You need to give the brand an incentive to give you a better price. And the reason why I say negotiations is the most important part is because if you follow steps number 1 and 2 correctly, and you're going to the brands directly and you're contacting the right type of brand, you're going to find that when you get the account open and you get the initial pricing file through, it's not profitable from day one. And it might be, a 2% margin, a 5% margin, an 8% margin, which is obviously not viable. Your job is to basically negotiate the most profitable pricing that you possibly can to actually make it viable, long-term and consistent. Now, there's a really great analogy that I usually tell to all of my students, and it's called the keyboard analogy, okay? So this is where negotiations comes in and can really make or break a product, right? So you've got person A and person B. They're both selling exactly the same product on Amazon at exactly the same price. So they're buying a keyboard and they're selling it at £19.99, okay? Person A is going to a distributor and they are paying £10 per unit for the keyboard. They're selling it for £20 and they're maybe making £3 worth of profit. So they're making £3 profit per unit, which is not the best margin, but it's okay and it's acceptable. A 15% profit margin, £3 profit per unit. But person B, however, is approaching the brand directly. They've approached the brand in the right way. They've articulated enough value to that brand and incentivized them to give them a good enough price that they're actually getting the keyboard for £7. So that means for every keyboard that they're selling, they're now making £6 profit per unit, okay, which is a 30% profit margin, which on the face of it, great, okay? Person B is making 30% profit and person A is making 15%. It's viable for them both and they're both selling the product. Now, the issues with this for person A is when things get rocky. And on Amazon, it is an open marketplace. So people can come in at any time and they can price however they want to. So listings on Amazon do get volatile. On day one, the keyboard might be selling for £19.99, but 30 days later, people might be buying it more from the distributor and people might have access to more stock and the price may drop to £18, okay? Like £17.99. So if the price drops to £17.99, person A is in a big dilemma now because it means that they're probably making way less than 10% margin and it's not really viable for them. But they've still got stock left, so they've either got the option to hold on to the stock or sell it at a very low margin. And if they sell it out, they're unlikely to want to replenish it because the margin is so low. Whereas person B, because they've managed to negotiate a better price, not only are they making way more margin, they're actually able to sustain the listing for a longer period of time. So because they've actually done the hard work up front and they've negotiated a very competitive price at a very competitive rate, they're able to actually sustain the volatility on these listings. So whether the listing goes up to £22 or whether it comes down to £17, £18, person B is actually able to stay on the listing consistently. Apart from giving you better margin, what this actually gives you is a long-term, sustainable, consistent business. And it gives you predictable income because you know that if you're buying that product at a better rate than everybody else, it's unlikely that people are going to be able to sell it cheaper than you, which means that you're going to be able to sell that product for hopefully 1, 2, 3, maybe even 5 to 10 years. And that is exactly what we're looking to build here. And that is the number one mistake that I see so many Amazon sellers make. So the solution to this is to negotiate with your suppliers properly. You need to actually articulate enough perceived value and give them a good enough incentive for them to want to work with you. You don't just want to come across as an Amazon seller who's demanding the lowest prices so that they can make the biggest margin. You need to actually justify why you need that better price, okay? And I promise you, if you really manage to master this skill, and this is a mistake that everybody makes, you will honestly scale your Amazon business 10 times faster. Now, if you take one thing from this video, it's that sourcing profitable products is the baseline foundation to your Amazon business. If you get it right, you'll make a ton of money. And if you don't get it right and you do those 3 things wrong and make those mistakes, which a lot of people do, you'll constantly find yourself in an uphill battle, just constantly chasing margins, constantly chasing price volatility, stock levels, finding new suppliers, and you'll just find the business model really, really hard. And that's why I get the question all the time of, is Amazon FBA saturated in 2025? And yes, it is if you're making these mistakes and you're doing things wrong and you don't know actually how to run the business properly. But if you know how to run the business properly, you know how to contact the right suppliers, you know how to negotiate with them, you have an eye for the right type of products and you do the correct product analysis, the sky is the limit. The opportunities are endless. If you want a step-by-step proven framework to help you source profitable products, contact the right type of suppliers, and actually negotiate with them properly to be able to sell these products for years and years, go to the description of this video and book in a call with me. On this call, we will establish exactly what you're looking to achieve and whether or not we can help you or not, okay? And if we can, great. I'll walk you through what we can offer. And if we can't, my promise to you is that you will always leave the call better off than when you started. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and also comment what you are struggling with in your Amazon business now. I'm always looking for new content ideas, and my mission here is to provide you guys with as much free value as possible. And if you're looking to start Amazon FBA, check out my channel for all other Amazon FBA related content. I'll see you in the next one.